Today I'm going to be discussing an absolute legend, in my opinion, a top G, and a big inspiration of mine, Conor McGregor. Something you may or may not know about me is that I am a big fan of the UFC. Watching those events are in my top 20% of fun activities which I allow myself to do, providing they're not on at a ridiculous time anyway. So whenever I can, I watch my UFC events. Conor is a bit of a weird one really, because nowadays, when you mention him, I think most people who aren't delusional can, acknowledge his success and what he achieved. The problem is, there's always like a but behind whatever they say about him. But he's an asshole, but he's a cokehead, but Khabib took his soul, but he fell off, so on and so forth. Haters are gonna hate, of course. Anyone with any level of success, anyone who even exists, who doesn't just sit in his basement all day and not speak to a single soul, everyone has haters. Everyone has detractors. You need to be a somebody to have haters. If you are a somebody, someone's going to dislike you. I think the sad thing is, though, there is some levels of truth behind some of the criticisms that Conor gets. He was once at the absolute height of the sport, bringing so many new people into it, being double champion in 2 different divisions, and just being an absolute warrior, building his entire life upon his mission, his purpose, which was to become a UFC champion. And to be fair, some would say that he is still the height of the sport, depending on what scope you're looking at it. If Conor McGregor fights, people watch. It doesn't matter how many times he's lost, people watch. He is an absolute enigma when it comes to, just being so entertaining and so polarizing to watch. So in that sense, yes, he's still at the height of the sport. When Conor gets a fight, when Conor's headlining a pay-per-view, it will sell the fuck out. Skill-wise, however, he's fallen off. His last win came nearly 3 years ago against Donald Cerrone, and no disrespect to Donald Cerrone, is an absolute fucking G in his own right, but he was on his way out now, and a month or so ago, he actually did just retire. He's been fighting for a very long time, he's quite old, it's a very young man's sport. So Conor's last win 3 years ago came against him, and Donald is beyond his glory days. And then before that, his last win was in 2016 for the lightweight belt. I think it's fair to say that peak Conor was 2015-2016. That was when he was on an absolute shred through the featherweight and lightweight division. But after that, a very slow, steady decline began. What the hell happened? Conor got complacent. He got the money, he got the car, he got the bitches, got the boats, he got everything he wanted. No longer was he the hungry young man he used to be. Now, don't get me wrong, in Conor's position, I think most men would become complacent. You have absolutely peaked at the top of one of the most exciting, deadly sports. It's like modern day Gladiator. You go into a ring and millions of people are watching you, and you get to knock out opponents in front of everyone. I can't even imagine how that could possibly feel. The testosterone just surging through your veins. The absolute, peak of dopamine when you've been training for months and years, you've dedicated your entire life to something, and you achieve champion of the world status in front of millions of people. That is a phenomenal achievement. I can't even begin to imagine what that would feel like. And Conor did this twice in 2 divisions at the same time, while being the most popular draw the sport had ever seen. Conor brought so many new fans into the UFC, the world of mixed martial arts. He absolutely peaked so hard. He achieved so much. So I think getting complacent in his position there's definitely worse places to get complacent. Enter a sport, absolutely dominate it, elevate it to new heights, earn absolute boatloads of money at the same time. Seems pretty good to me. But what's the learning lesson that we can get from Conor when we look at it through this scope? Conor was the most dangerous man when he was climbing up, and the wolf on the top of the hill is not as hungry as the wolf who is climbing the hill. Conor was at the top of the hill. His hunger was satiated, and I speculate calculate that he would replace time that he would spend training, time that he would spend recovering, eating, sleeping. He would start to replace that with other things, you know, driving sports cars, drugs maybe, women. When you're climbing the hill, you have no time for that shit. When you're at the top of the hill, you've already got it all, you know? You're not as hungry. You're not going to feel as guilty about, you know, skipping that one gym session to instead drive your Lamborghini yacht or whatever the fuck boat he has. He has an awesome speedboat. It's fucking sweet. A lot of young men would settle and get complacent in Conor's position as well, of course. Like, Jesus Christ, that's absolute peak status that you can get. The problem is, though, a lot of men will actually settle for a lot less than what Conor has as well. A lot of men see any sort of achievement, any sort of success, and become complacent with that. They're like, yeah, you know, I've done it. That's enough for them. Yeah, I've scored a 3 out of 10. You know, that's good enough for me. They just give up. They're complacent. They're comfortable now. They don't have that drive anymore. When you don't have a girlfriend, you want a girlfriend. You're going to start doing things to get a girlfriend. How do you get a girlfriend? You have to become a better person. You have to become a more masculine man. Maybe you hit the gym. Maybe you focus on your finances, your success. You try and hit life from all angles, right? If you settle for a 3 out of 10, you no longer have a reason to give a shit. This is quite a superficial example, but you could do this for any sort of facet of life. You have a job that is paying you £12 an hour. Let's say minimum wage is £10 an hour. You know, £12, pretty good. You know, you're now comfortable. Whereas if you're a guy who is not comfortable with £12 an hour, or you don't even have a job and you're thinking, I want £40 an hour instead, I want £100, I want £1,000 an hour, you're suddenly going to have a lot more drive to start thinking, how the fuck do I achieve that? Whereas a guy who has the £12 an hour and is happy with that is complacent, is comfortable. A lot of young men are complacent doing, you know, a mid-level job, hitting the gym sometimes, and settling for a 5 out of 10. Do not let your hunger be satiated. Set new and exciting goals. Dominate your goals. Dominate your field. And don't become complacent. Once your hunger is satiated, it will not take you long to begin decaying as a man. You will become a shell of the monster that you used to be. Conor McGregor is a perfect example of this. No disrespect to Conor McGregor at all. He's still a fucking animal. Maybe his purpose changed. Maybe his purpose is no longer to dominate mixed martial arts, but it's to dominate business. It's to be a better dad. That's fucking completely fine. That's awesome, in fact. As men develop, as men grow, you peel away new layers of your purpose until you find your deeper purpose. Your purpose can change in life. Maybe Conor is happy with what he achieved in mixed martial arts. Now he's happy to settle down a little bit more, become a really good dad, a good husband, and he wants to focus on his businesses. He wants to set his future generations up for even more success. Maybe that's Conor's purpose now. So zero disrespect for Conor, but it's a really good example of what can happen when you become complacent. I don't think Conor's done with MMA. People are gonna fucking watch Conor McGregor fight. Doesn't matter how many times he loses. So I'd like to think he still has a burning passion for it somewhere, but I don't think it's anywhere near as much as it was when he was on the climb up the hill. Conor's an absolute legend and an incredible role model, despite some of his misdemeanors.
Yes!
Such as the bus incident. One of my favourite clips of Conor McGregor is actually him quoting Van Gogh.
Like Vincent Van Gogh. He dedicated his life to his art and lost his mind in the process. That's happened to me.
The point of this video is to point out to you the dangers of becoming complacent. The dangers of not setting new and exciting goals for you to keep pursuing. Without goals, your masculine drive will be satiated and you will no longer grow. You will decay as a man. You have to remain hungry. I hope this video is helpful. I hope it was insightful, inspiring. If you're not already, join a Discord. It's linked in the description. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys.